Dear friends and colleagues, dear participants, you may know me already, but let me introduce myself. I am Florent Messi. I'm the head of Consumer Finance, Insurance and Pension Division at the OECD, and I have the pleasure to be also the Executive Secretary of the International Network of Financial Education. As you know, the OECD and the INFE, the International Network of Financial Education, took over the Global Money Week 3 years ago, and it was our pleasure, of course, to organize the last Global Money Week. So today, what we are doing is launching the Global Money Week 2022 Annual Report. As you know, the Global Money Week campaign itself for 2022 took place between the 21st and the 27th of March this year. Of course, it may already seem a bit far away, and of course, the Global Money Week 2023 is just around the corner. But this event in between the two annual campaigns is essential. It is important indeed to take stock of the efforts, activities, and good practices that were implemented during Global Money Week this year. And of course, we want also to take this opportunity to thank all of you and all of those that have participated in the 2022 campaign. Global Money Week this year was celebrated again in difficult circumstances after 2 years of pandemic. The Russian aggression against Ukraine brought new challenges on the horizons for economies and the financial consumers, including young, of course, consumers. A large part of 2022 has been marked by rising living costs and inflation in many countries, as well as rising interest rate as a result of increased inflation. And then, of course, uncertainty and fluctuation on the financial markets. The most vulnerable consumers, as almost in any crisis, have unfortunately been even more affected and will be even more affected by these trends, especially as the current unstable economic and financial landscape are probably here to stay, at least for a while. At the same time, these challenges reminded us once again that there is no better time to make sure young people, young generation, know how to manage their money and be financially resilient in any unexpected circumstances. The very theme of the Global Money Week in 2022 was build your future, be smart about money, underlying the need to be forward-looking, to be careful about money, and prepared indeed for unexpected events. It is about making sure that young people have the skills to make smart financial decisions for their financial future and well-being. 2022 marked also a very special edition of the Global Money Week. It's the 10th anniversary, as you can see on my background, of the Global Money Week. As we developed this annual report, many countries shared why the Global Money Week campaign has been important for them and provided insight on what has been the impact of the campaign over the years. Many activities were also organized around the world to mark the special edition, alongside activities, of course, by the Global Money Week Secretariat. As in previous years, the reach of the campaign has been impressive, with 108 countries joining the campaign through organizing a variety of financial education activities for children, young people, teachers, and parents, including events, workshops, training, fairs, competition, and games, both in digital format and in person. Today, we will hear some examples of such innovative and engaging activities. The Global Money Week Annual Report, which is being launched just today and now, is full of such ideas. And I have to say, it is live as well. So I invite you to read it, to get inspired by your peers from around the world on their initiative. And as you're being inspired by ideas and activities from the 2022 edition, we hope that you will start already to think of how you will participate in the Global Money Week 2023, planned to take place between 20 and 26 March 2023. And with this, I would like, of course, to pass the floor to Alexander Vasco Cavalcanti, Director of the Office of Investor Protection and Assistance at the Securities and Exchange Commission, CVM of Brazil, and importantly here, Chair of the OECD INFE Global Money Week Working Group, for his introductory remark. And let me say, before passing on the floor of the screen to Vasco today, that his enthusiasm and leadership is really helping us in the Secretariat. And you see here, Bianca and Chiara, make sure that we are up to your standard, Vasco, and to the standard of countries. So thank you for your leadership and enthusiasm, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Florhen, for your kind words, and mostly to OECD and our colleagues for this incredible opportunity. I would say it's an inventory to have the opportunity to launch and work and collaborate with such an important and global campaign. I'm really pleased and honored to be here today and to be part of this working group and the INF. I think the ceremony that is being held today marks the launch of the Global Money Week report. And this initiative wouldn't be possible without the strong support and leadership of OECD. Thank you, Florhen, Andrea Labu, and all colleagues that took the risks and accept to take this campaign forward. I think it was a very brave decision, and we need to be very thankful to you for taking that important step. I think this campaign is really a public good, a global good that offers opportunities to national coordinators, teachers, and different participants across the globe to offer opportunities to kids and young adults to learn about finance. This is a really important skill, and this campaign is really a global voice to promote financial education across the globe. The report that is being published today offers a lot of insights and a diverse list of initiatives that were launched in the last campaign and that can help us to think about the next one. We need to think, we need to be innovative, and we need to design the next level of financial education, the next tools, and how we should reinvent ourselves in this challenging environment. So this campaign provides the opportunity for a lot of countries and to work together to advance the knowledge and skills of the kids and young people across the globe. I would like to thank the working group. It's a lot of work, and our colleagues at this working group are working really hard to make this campaign work, and especially to all of you that have contributed to this campaign in your jurisdictions. This, I think, marks the launch of the report of the last campaign, but also the planning for the next one. Thank you so much. Back to you, Florhen.
Thank you very much, Vasco, and also for thanking the working group that has been also very helpful. And of course, here, Bianca and Chiara, I will actually hand over to Bianca, who is our MC today. Thank you very much, Bianca.
Thank you very much, Florhan. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, very well.
Thank you very much to you and to Vasco for setting the scene for today's webinar, and hello to everyone. I will start with some brief highlights of the report, and I actually just want to remind you, like Florhan mentioned, that the report is live, and my colleague will put the link in the chat right now, so you can have a look while we speak and we go to the report. It's on the globalmoneyweek.org website. And first of all, I would like to start, of course, with a word of thanks to all the countries that participated in the Global Money Week and submitted the information of the activities that were carried out throughout the campaign. And also let me acknowledge the work of Lina Lieblich, which has been supporting the Global Money Week Secretariat on the Global Money Week campaign more generally, but she's also basically behind this really beautiful report that you're going to see. So as in previous years, the Global Money Week report is divided into two parts. We have a global overview in the first part of the report with activities that were organized during the campaign, such as the Global Money Week launch. We have put together some sections on the special activities organized in occasion of the 10th anniversary of the Global Money Week, some insights on the impact of the campaign, an overview of the Global Money Week team and how this has been actually used to organize different activities in different countries, example of innovative activities, and also some example of monitoring and evaluation activities. And we'll hear more about this shortly. And of course, the report also provides an overview of the outreach of the Global Money Week campaign this year. And the second part of the report, just as in previous years, is actually consists of an overview of countries which have participating in the campaign. We present outreach, we present a description of their activities, and also a list of the institutions that have participated in each country. So as I mentioned, we now have a final overview of the Global Money Week campaign's outreach in 2022. And you can see on the slide that we have reached this year 108 participating countries and economies. More than 10,000 organizations have participated in the Global Money Week this year. And the campaign overall reached over 90 million children and young people with different activities organized in the countries, and indirectly more than 108 million people were reached in some way with Global Money Week messages, with messages about financial literacy, about financial resilience, and so on. So I think you will agree with me when I say that this is quite impressive, and obviously it is also thanks to all your efforts, everybody who's connected today and who's maybe not connected today from this 108 countries and economies. So thank you all very much for your efforts. And I would like to also remind you that the Global Money Week campaign this year was supported by the G20 Indonesia 2022 presidency. And you may recall that during the global launch of the campaign, both the representative of the G20 Indonesia Presidency Secretariat, as well as the co-chair of the G20 Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion, were present at the launch to show their support to the campaign. And as the representative of the G20 in Indonesia presidency reminded us, the presidency's focus also this year was on developing financial inclusion frameworks, which support a sustainable and inclusive economy for youth, as well as women and MSMEs. So I have mentioned to you that the first part of the report actually provides an overview of some very interesting activities. We have focused on activities that address the Global Money Week theme, innovative activities, activities that have ensured that Global Money Week is inclusive, and also some monitoring and evaluation activities. So in terms of the Global Money Week theme, which I remind you was build your future, be smart about money. This theme was actually associated with a really wide range of, let's say, activities and broader concepts, such as the concept of digitalization, sustainability, resilience, and also achieving one's goals in the future. Then a lot of innovative activities, like every year we were surprised by, well, not surprised, but amazed by the range of innovative activities that countries implemented this year, such ranging from basically bringing the Global Money Week in the metaverse, using behavioral insights to create new games, or actually even using old games such as storytelling, games that were new by young people in their countries, and they were changed so that they can incorporate lessons about financial education. And even some countries have made installations in city centers around financial education where people can go and test their knowledge and get engaged with the idea of financial education and learn about this. And we've also seen this year that many organizations made extra efforts to be inclusive and to reach a really wide range of students with different backgrounds in different locations, and especially focusing on those students who may be behind, who maybe because of the COVID-19 pandemic were left behind or were not reached through digital means, for example, in previous editions of the Global Money Week. And finally, we've also seen more countries putting an effort in monitoring and evaluating their Global Money Week activities, and also conducting research during the Global Money Week campaign. So if this sounds super interesting to you and you want to hear some additional details about these activities, of course, I invite you to read the report, but I also invite you to listen very carefully to our next panel, because we will have some very exciting examples from some of these activities that I have just mentioned, so stay tuned. And finally, I wanted to remind you it has already been said, and you can see also on my background that this year was the 10th anniversary of the Global Money Week, which means that both the Secretariat, but also countries around the world have actually took effort to celebrate it and to make some special activities. And what we also appreciated was that some countries shared with the Global Money Week Secretariat examples or insights from their own countries. And they told us why the Global Money Week was important for them in their countries and what has been the impact of the campaign in their countries. So just to give you some examples, and you will see more in the report, we have been told that the campaign has actually had a significant contribution to the way that people in their countries, in specific countries, perceive and prioritize financial education, especially financial education for young people. This is also a key initiative to raise awareness on the importance of financial education for students, and is well appreciated and recognized in schools in many countries. The Global Money Week has helped also enhance collaboration around stakeholders around financial education. It has helped with raising awareness on the importance of introducing financial education in the school curricula. Some countries have told us that thanks to the awareness raising of the Global Money Week campaign, financial education has been introduced in the school curricula. And actually, in many countries, the Global Money Week has also been institutionalized for example, policies or as part of national strategy. So for us, this is really encouraging and also very motivating. And we are very appreciative of the information and also all these examples that have been shared with us. And it only encourages to do more and to work closely together with you to continue this campaign. And of course, like always, the end of a Global Money Week cycle means the beginning of another one. So as was mentioned by Florian, also the 2023 campaign is fast approaching, and we have already set the dates. So please save the date. You might have already started to work on the campaign. It will take place between 20 to 26th of March 2023. We will announce a theme soon. We haven't yet. We are working on it. We will let you know. And we'll also circulate a survey just as in previous years so that you can let us know if you're planning to participate and what are your plans. So please stay tuned and be in touch with us for any additional questions, comments, or ideas that you may need. I will be happy to work with you and share with you all that you need. So with this, I thank you all once again, and I pass the floor to Chiara, and she will moderate the next session, a very exciting session. I'm looking forward to that. Thanks.
Thank you, Bianca, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. It's really nice to see so many of you connected. So in the next panel, we wanted to really look beyond the amazing numbers that Bianca has just shared and look a bit deeper at what all of you have been doing during this year's campaign in March. So we have selected a few examples of programs that we thought were interesting, were innovative, and were interpreting in different ways the theme of this year campaign, that is Build Your Future, Be Smart About Money. And also this is an opportunity to really, as I said, look beyond the numbers and focus on what we really care the most at the OECD, that is looking at good practices and good examples that can hopefully give inspiration to all of you as you think about your financial education programs for next year, for Global Money Week, but also more broadly. So we will do a short tour around the world. We will hear from Brazil, Ireland, Thailand, and Sweden. And we will hear examples of different innovative ways of delivering financial educations, of discussions and reflections on future challenges for financial education. We will hear about new and creative ideas on how to develop programs that address a number of emerging challenges that are affecting young people today, such as financial digitalization, the emergence of sustainable finance, and so on. And we will basically also hear about how to encourage young kids and young people to think about their own future. So I don't want to take too much time, so I suggest to go directly into the presentations. We have 4 speakers, each of them will make a presentation, but I do encourage all of the participants in this webinar to share your questions. For the participants, you can do so in the chat or in the Q&A function. And I will take up those questions. I will see either in between or mostly at the end of the 4 presentations. So with no further ado, let's start again from Jose Vasco. He has already been introduced, but I can repeat that he's the Director of Investor Protection and Assistance at the Securities and Exchange Commission of Brazil. And he's also our chair of our working group on Global Money Week in the INFE. And we will hear from him about very innovative ways of discussing about financial education. Vasco, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I hope you can see my slides now.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay. So thank you so much, Chiara, for the invitation and for the opportunity to share our own experience. I think it's important to mention that the Global Money Week provides the ideal platform to test new ideas, because you can scale it up. You can share your knowledge, you can learn with other partners. And I think this is also provides an opportunity to global cooperation to test new instruments. And as we here at Brazil, I'm the director of the Office of Investor Protection and Assistance, who has been responsible for initial investor education since 1998. When it was launched, and we then moved to financial education to help foster savings in Brazil and to help citizens, consumers, to become investors. So in this long journey, we have been tested to approach the new generation of young Brazilians that are trying very hard new innovative financial instruments. In Brazil, it's one of the most fast growth markets in terms of adoption of crypto, especially among the new generation. So our challenge here, one of the challenges, is how to be there where the new generation is. So we launched 2 years ago a TikTok profile, and we did this during Global Money Week. It was very unique for us to have this platform and test a pilot on TikTok. And now think about the next steps. We decided to take our chances and move and have a first step in the metaverse. So the metaverse, as I will quote Mark Zuckerberg, who even changed the name of his company to Meta. It's about an embodied internet. Instead of just viewing content, you are in it. So you can share, you can interact, you can have access to digital objects, you can buy it, you can. So, and there's a lot of discussions, legal discussions, even about when people die, passed away. So how you deal with their digital assets, some of them very valuable, NFTs, can cost thousands of dollars. So, and there's very interesting discussions. And I think financial education needs to play a role and test this new environment. So what we did, there was some preparation here in the first picture on the left side, on the upper side of these slides. We really tested. So we bought the equipment, the VR Oculus and the equipment, and we tried to test different rooms and places. So just to get to know what is best for this approach. And we choose the Meta, because it's free, it's no cost. So we choose the workrooms. So we build a room there for CVM educational, and we for around 40 days we're discussing with colleagues, testing. Then we launched during the Global Money Week this event, and it's interesting that the video is online. You can check on YouTube. Unfortunately, it's in Portuguese, but you can have this experience. And we also had experience in 3D for those that were using VR equipment, but colleagues that were part of the event could also join it just using a computer and accessing through a kind of a Zoom platform. So it was interesting that the first 20 minutes was about environment. People didn't have questions about, the content. They were asking us to, please could you test this, to how you can do this. So it was like a tour in the metaverse in this environment. And we are testing the new technology. We also moved to different places. As you can see here, we were in a beach, I think it was in Greece. And also then we moved to a more traditional room, and people could watch this as in this table, and also my presentation. So you have everything online. And I interact with one of the speakers. It was a joint initiative with the a very important public organization in Brazil, which promotes entrepreneurship, and they were also testing the metaverse as a tool to working on entrepreneurship education. So you can see, I'm not sure if you can see here, but I could access my computer, my desktop. I was with the Googles, and then I could present and share my screen as I'm doing now in the metaverse. It was very interesting experience. And so, but it was a pilot. And I think what are the lessons learned, and I think the opportunities here for financial education particularly, especially about the metaverse. It provides a unique opportunity of immersive learning. So you can access a spaceship, travel to another planet, interact with objects, and also have this experience of trying things. If you have a VR headset, you can also access through your own computer. There are different solutions for that. So the metaverse can be inclusive. The other opportunity is that it's simulation ready. So it's safe, so you don't have to deal with hazard things. We are not working with chemicals here, but financial products can be very dangerous if you don't deal with it. So you can test, you can create an environment that can simulate financial operations, financial transactions, and in a very cost-efficient and realistic way. And people are actually doing that already in real life. And scalability, it was no cost for us just to buy the equipment because I wanted to host it. There was all solutions that I will have in my next slides about other approaches to the metaverse that can be even cheaper for the user if you as regulator who wants to promote an event in the metaverse. So the solutions are scalable, of course. If you want a very consistent approach to reach out thousands of millions of people, you may need some investment in infrastructure, but the solutions that we have now are free. You can easily organize an event, and I think they are very interactive. And this is important that people can interact. It's like with the students and the participants. They can share the idea. They can do some networking, and also with the digital objects that you have in this environment. And what is more important, I think, in my perspective, and it connects with financial innovation, and I know a lot of regulators and supervisors now launching sandbox financial innovation hubs, accelerators, incubators. There is really a trend to regulators to move into this space and also to test new approaches and even learn with this approach and how to regulate it, because the world is moving to that direction. So in the metaverse provides this incredible connection, and I think it's still in an early stage. In 5 years, it will be different between the financial, virtual, and physical worlds. And especially what I think it's more promising here is the connection between the metaverse and the blockchain. Which is happening already through gamification. So you can have a wallet, so you can access your own private keys and have your own objectives, objects, goods, digital goods in the metaverse. You can sell it, you can buy it, and so you can earn an NFT for a cost that you have just completed. So you can have like this digital collectivity of different goods like NFTs. You can transfer value. You can have access to ways to establish a governance system in an environment, so you can vote, you can discuss, and you can have even an organization in the metaverse, working in the metaverse. And through my digital learning about the metaverse, I went to different spaces where different programmers in space were working together to code. And it was really impressive how people from different places around the world were meeting there just to work together in a software. So, and it's also very accessible, and you can have access to your own bank accounts and if, as an investor, to your financial assets in real world, and interact with them through the metaverse. So it's a lot. There are a lot of opportunities. I think this. I'm going to mention this just to share this paper here about the possibilities of the metaverse for the financial system, which I think it's interesting to explore. And as I have mentioned, I think we have an opportunity to help the young people and kids to learn about blockchain and the future financial system, and interact with these new digital tools in a more safe space, providing opportunity to test, to learn, and also have opportunities to be educated themselves. And in an event that we have organized with the Association of Listed Companies, because the Global Money Week event, I think, as far as I know, was the first global event in the metaverse for financial education. So was a first in not only for Global Money Week, but I think for regulators and Global Money Week participants. But we should do more. So after this first step, we partnered with the Association of Listed Companies in Brazil, mostly because there are now companies that are organizing their annual general meetings of the shareholders in the metaverse. And as a regulator, we got a request from the Association of Listed Companies in Brazil about the possibilities of using the metaverse to host shareholders meeting, how they would do this, how people will vote. So a lot of new questions for us as regulators. So we invited them to test this idea, and in a specific platform, which is called the Meta Markets, we hosted this event. And you can see here on the left side, there were different places, so people could choose different rooms, all rooms with the names of nice places in Rio, Corcovado, Ipanema, Alagoas. So you can choose. You enter, and you don't need a VR. So the platform provides everything for you. You can use your own computer, change your avatar, and can visit these different places that were floating, you know, in the skies in Rio de Janeiro. So you can have different perspectives. It was very nice. And you can, the video is also available online. In this event, we discussed more technical aspects about shareholders, meetings, how to protect investors, how to ensure these environments, this space will be something that is inclusive, and investors will be protected, will have access to the information and how to make their decisions and vote. So moving forward for the next campaign, we are planning a more global metaverse event for next year. But I take this opportunity to invite our colleagues that are watching us that want to join us on this adventure, because it's a journey. We need to explore. It's something that I think it's safe now, but it's something really different. And if they want to partner with us, just let us know. We want to organize a discussion among regulators in different places to explore how these new immersive worlds can work for financial education, but also not only explore the environment, but also to think and go deeper and discuss technical aspects and how we can have these spaces to promote education. So thank you so much for the opportunity to share. I will be happy to take any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vasco. It was really interesting to learn more about how you've been using the metaverse for financial education, but also more broadly for financial decision making. So there is indeed a couple of quick questions for you in the chat. First of all, apparently, some colleagues are having difficulties in finding the video that you shared, so they would like to know if it's available somewhere else. And also, there is a colleague, Bobby Barber, who's asking about the technology that you use to create the virtual space, if you use the Meta Horizon board, which I don't know what it is, but I assume it makes sense to you, or if you use some other technology. If you could reply quickly, thanks.
Yes, for the first event, we used the Meta Horizon board because and the workrooms actually, because we could set up a room was free, so no costs, and we can have like 50 people in the room, 35 through a Zoom window, and 50 people in the metaverse. So we decided to choose this solution because we're more stable, and I think was a first step. We also recorded the video using the VR equipment, the Oculus Quest 2. That was the equipment, but I have some problems with the sound. So we had a backup, and our colleagues from Sebrae were recording the video from the Zoom. So they connected with the Zoom window and was a firm, and they recorded the video. So I had this problem with my VR, actually not with the VR, but the user. I did something wrong, but they had the video and it is available online. For the second webinar, then we partnered with the Association of Listed Companies. So we have a more, was no cost for users, but they paid for this. They partnered with IT firm, and they offered this space free for the users, but there were some costs involved. It's a solid solution. There are other solutions. And of course, we now are thinking about investing in building a digital CVM in the metaverse, so we can have rooms, but perhaps this will be for next year.
Thanks, Vasco. In the meantime, we also have a question from Maria Lucia Leitao from Bank of Portugal. She's asking if you have any figures on the impact of these initiatives in numbers.
No, it brought a lot of visibility to CVM because it was the first initiative in Brazil for led by a financial regulator. So in a lot of media coverage after the event, especially in the crypto world. And because we are now discussing how we will regulate crypto in Brazil, especially security tokens and other investments, I think was a very good opportunity to reach out to this new crypto industry, and they were the regulators pay attention to that. So was a lot of after our event, we saw a lot of discussions and events, and even organizations that tried to partner with us to promote. But actually, the impact in terms of the public was still low, and I think that one of the reasons is that we didn't announce it. We just did the pilot on a Saturday because we need better internet connection. So Saturday was a better day to test this, and then we make this public online. For next year, we are considering to have a more impact. For the event with the Abrasca, a lot of listed companies, actually market participants, attended. So I think the impact was more in the capital markets and less impact in the education system. But we need to do a better communication and perhaps plan for next year event.
Okay, perfect. So we don't have any more immediate questions for Vasco, so I will move on. But of course, if other thoughts come to your mind, in the meantime, we can go back to the metaverse and Brazil afterwards. So now I would like to give the floor to the colleagues from Ireland, from the Money Advice and Budgeting Service. We have Joe Nevin, who is Education and Financial Inclusion Executive at MABS, the Money Advice and Budgeting Service, and Amy Lajoie, who is a Social Policy and Research Executive in the same institution. And they will walk us through their programs during Global Money Week and more broadly on how to support children in money management. And we will also learn about impact evaluation and lessons learned. So please, Joe and Amy, the floor is yours.
Great, Chiara. Can you hear me okay?
Very well.
Yeah, and can you see our presentation full screen there?
Yes. So
great. Good, we're good to go. Great, thanks a million. Good afternoon to our, good morning, good evening to our friends in Europe and around the world. And good morning to all our friends and colleagues in Ireland. Thank you to the Global Money Week Secretariat for inviting us to speak today. My name is Joe Nevin, and I am the Education and Financial Inclusion Executive with MABS, the Money Advice and Budgeting Service in Ireland. I'm joined today by my colleague Amy Lajoie, who is the Social Policy and Research Executive with MABS. So we're going to start off today by explaining who and what MABS is and what we do at a practical level. We will then move on to detail MABS' involvement with Global Money Week and our approach to the Global Money Week lesson plan in schools. We'll also look at why we introduced the Protecting Your Money module within the lesson plan this year, focusing on gambling and on fraud. Amy will detail the research we undertook then finally as part of Global Money Week 2022, highlighting some preliminary results and finally discussing some conclusions and recommendations for the research. So moving on, MABS stands for the Money Advice and Budgeting Service. We are the state's response to over-indebtedness in this country. We're funded by the government through the Citizens Information Board. The MABS service in Ireland provides free, independent, non-judgmental advice to people currently in debt or in danger of falling into debt. So our services range from helping people to form a budget to helping people out who are losing their homes or in court in mortgage arrears or are going through the insolvency, personal insolvency and bankruptcy system. So MABS has a variety of ways we can access, for people to access advice. Primarily, it's through our centres throughout the country of Ireland. We also have a national helpline. People can contact us on WhatsApp or through social media, and on our website we have extensive budgeting tools and self-help materials for people who want to budget or want to get themselves out of debt themselves. So we have 60 offices throughout Ireland, and we operate in every county in Ireland. We also, like Global Money Week, we're having a birthday, so congratulations to Global Money Week Secretariat for 30 years in the OECD, or 10 years in the OECD. MABS were celebrating 30 years, and MABS was started in 1992 on a pilot basis, really to combat illegal money lending and money lending in the country, and ways to combat that. So what does MABS do at a practical level? We empower people to regain control of their finances. We support people in practical budgeting and money management skills so that day-to-day expenses can be met and debts can be repaid. And we raise awareness. We have a remit in education in Ireland, a legislative remit. So we raise awareness of debt issues in local community by delivering money management sessions in schools and communities, and Global Money Week is part of this delivery. In terms of Amy's role, we also report on policy issues that impact consumers and communities in the area of debt and money management. So Global Money Week. We started in Global Money Week. MABS started in Ireland with Global Money Week in 2019. So the pilot phase, we delivered to 15 schools to over 500 children, mainly to transition years students between the ages of 12 and 18. So the lesson plan and the resources provided were provided centrally by MABS support, and MABS services throughout the country delivered the plan in local schools. So just a note on transition year students in second level. Transition year, or TY as it's commonly known, is a one-year program between the junior cycle and the senior cycle. And it's designed to act as a bridge between the two cycles by facilitating a smooth transition from the more dependent learning of the junior cycle to more independent self-directed learning in the senior cycle. So Global Money Week in transition year fits in well for many students who are working in the community, maybe getting paid work experience as well and experiencing money for the first time. In 2020, unfortunately, we had great plans for Global Money Week. A lot of schools and services were on board, but it was cancelled, obviously, due to COVID-19. In 2021, we delivered over Zoom to some schools, but we were still in lockdown. And even in 2022, there was a reinvigoration of Global Money Week with a huge commitment from MABS services nationwide, and also teachers and students. And we delivered in the classroom with several sessions in Zoom because we were just emerging from lockdown and schools were just coming back. So MABS approach. Any lessons that we introduce in the classroom are always interactive. They're practical lessons, education sessions that are delivered in the classroom have a degree of fun and interaction and discussion with the students. Our primary focus is on identifying spending priorities, so looking at needs and wants, and also focusing on budgeting and focusing on the key themes of Global Money Week: learn, earn, and save, and this year being smart with your money, building resilience and financial resilience. So the age group we primarily deliver to range from 15 to 17. We also deliver to other age groups, usually from 12 to 20. And the lesson and action plan provided can be adapted to any class and to any age. So the Global Money Week sessions in 2022, Build Your Future, Be Smart with Your Money. We looked at needs and wants and priorities around spending and discussions on that in an interactive activity. We focused on budgeting. We had a case study of a young person who had a budget and had to manage their money, and the class were invited to engage with that. We also asked each student for a savings goal if they hadn't had one already, and to focus on savings and the fact that savings can help with future shocks and building resilience. We focused a small bit on borrowing and looked at cost of credit and the dangers of borrowing. We focused on buy now, pay later as well, and that led us into protecting your money, where we looked at gambling and also fraud and scams, and I'll discuss that later on. So some of the key headlines from Global Money Week this year in Ireland: 24 MABS services throughout Ireland were involved in Global Money Week. Each student brought home a money management pack, was given to each student. So there were spending diaries, there was information on going to college, and local services develop their own packs as well. So an impact of Global Money Week could be brought home to families. So we reached 47 schools, 1 disability centre and 1 youth reach service and early school leaver centre. Over 1,400 students participated in our Global Money Week survey and research, and Amy will talk about that later on. We delivered to just over 2,500 students, and I said the impact was felt wider than that because information was brought home to families also. And as I said, the Global Money Week research report will be due soon in November as well. So in the classroom, just a few images there, the needs and wants activities, discussion in the classroom. You have some students that engaged in Global Money Week, teachers and some MAB staff as well there. A note as well on social media and promotion. So with the help and direct involvement of the CIB MABS communication team, each school that took part in Global Money Week in the Republic of Ireland received a digital pack so that they could promote Global Money Week on their own websites and on their own social media platforms. MABS offices as well, delivering Global Money Week sessions, received instructions on how they could share content back to the CIB MABS communications team for Global Money Week promotion. There was a dedicated Global Money Week landing page on the MABS website during Global Money Week as well. A video blog was released each day on MABS social media, wherein I would have spoken directly to the camera as part of Global Money Week, going through each of the themes of Global Money Week. So our social media campaign was well received, and in terms of impact, there was a wider reach of Global Money Week in the country. So just focusing on the protecting your money and the innovation around it, why we looked at it. In terms of young people, we focused on the free online games that young people and apps that they may be involved in and playing, such as slot machines, roulette, or casino type games that behavioral scientists have said are very addictive. So even though you have to be over 18 to play some of these games, many sites and apps do not require age verification. Through these games, a culture of gambling can be introduced, and by playing these games, it could lead to actual gambling addiction. There's also the issue of free bets, enticing people into gambling and then spending their money on it. So the gambling was very well received for the older groups that we delivered to in the schools, and there was a good bit of discussion on it. I know some services spoke of professional footballers in the Premiership in England who have, and in Ireland as well, sports stars who have come out about gambling are involved in a gambling awareness campaign. So we provided schools with support details if anybody is susceptible to gambling or has fallen foul to gambling. So it's an issue in our society that needs regulation, and it was well received. We also looked as well, going on the theme of being smart with your money and being careful with your money and protecting your money. We focused on scams and fraud, and we looked at phishing, smishing and vishing, looking at fraudulent emails, texts and phone calls respectively. So young people, there was great discussion, and Amy will talk about it in a bit in terms of the research that young people are careful, and it's very encouraging that they are careful about sharing their information and careful, especially when shopping online. So that message was put across. Also, if it's too good to be true, it's not true, and be careful on clicking on links on social media and accessing any sites through social media. So Amy, I think the floor is yours now.
Great. Thanks for that, Joe. So as Joe was saying, I'm just going to speak very, very briefly on the survey we decided to do on the back of Global Money Week. And we felt as though, especially young people in Irish society are quite underrepresented in terms of policy and just general discussion and narratives about money and financial matters. So we saw this as an opportunity, Global Money Week, to really tap in and get an idea of, what are some of the things that young people are thinking and feeling and some of their behaviors around personal financial decision making. So the survey was very short and it had an evaluative purpose as well. So we asked them to highlight their main takeaways from Global Money Week, but we also asked very specific questions concerning where they're learning about money and financial issues. We also asked questions around whether or not they have their own personal bank accounts and what tools and financial services they're using to track their finances. And we asked questions in regards to saving and saving behaviors, because we know these are very important to start at a young age and can be very beneficial to kind of grow those behaviors over time. And we also asked questions in relation to whether or not they're shopping and online, if they're participating in online shopping, which unsurprisingly, maybe a lot of them are, and how are they doing that safety? What are some of the safeguards they're putting in place to ensure that they are accessing websites that are safe and good to use? So just to say a little bit too about the survey, that we had over 1,400 participants, as Joe was saying, and the majority of the participants were between that age 15 to 17, which were the majority of participants in Global Money Week in Ireland. So we had 86% of the participants were of that age cohort. So, but there were participants from the ages of 12 all the way up to 20 as well. Some preliminary results here, and again, I'm just going to touch on this very, very briefly, a little bit of a sneak peek, because this report is in its final stages at the moment, and we will be launching next month. But one of a very interesting finding from the survey was that over 96% of the participants believed or recognized that they thought it was important to talk about money. And we would deal in Irish society, I'm sure it's similar in other parts of the world as well, quite a strong stigma and shame in regards to money and financial matters and discussing them. So it was great to see that young people today are, at least the ones who took part in our survey and in Global Money Week, quite open to speaking about money in the public or with one another. Another interesting finding, preliminary finding, was that over 40% are learning about money from social media outlets, the likes of TikTok and Twitter, for example. So particularly interesting to hear the work being done in Brazil, being shared earlier just now, because it's in a space that we know that we need to really tap into in Ireland to access young people. And it's something that we will monitor increasingly, especially at MABS, as a tool that we use in our money management education in the various initiatives that we support. And then the kind of next finding that was quite interesting. 80% do have their own personal bank account. So even at a young age, they're getting involved in banking services quite early. We also ask on the back of that question what types of bank accounts they're accessing, whether it's with a traditional financial institution or is it with an online only bank, the likes of Revolut, which is becoming quite popular here in Ireland, or if it's a credit union. We also have quite a strong credit union movement. And the majority that have their own bank account are with traditional banks, but quite a few are also have the likes of Revolut. It seems to be a significant number as well. So that's another area we're going to be continuing to track in future surveys and reports. And then 61% identified that they use their mobile phone as the predominant way that they track their money and personal finance. And this was the most common tool. And this is really interesting. Very, very few, I think probably 7 and 8% use a computer. So the phone as a digital tool it seems to be quite dominant for young people, again, perhaps unsurprisingly. And there were a number, about a quarter were using cash services or ATM services. So there still is use, and we think that still outlines that there is a good cohort of the population that's still using cash services to track their money as well. So another area that we're hoping to monitor in future work. And then 82%, again, the vast majority report that they are shopping online. And a number, we asked as well, sort of a follow-up question to that. What are they doing? What steps do they take to ensure that they're accessing safe websites? And we were very impressed with some of the results, or some of the write-in responses, I should say. And for example, many are looking at, the link, making sure that there's a lock symbol, making sure it's an HTTPS with the S when using those websites. They're also asking their parents, they're checking reviews. So quite a good bit of knowledge and awareness around shopping online and some of the perhaps dangers in terms of protecting personal information. So we're quite encouraged by that as well. And then just a final slide here, just to wrap up a little bit about the report. Again, this is something that we'll be launching next year, and we do feel doing this type of work is very important. We're hoping to repeat this process in the next Global Money Week that we support at MABS the next year, and hopefully in subsequent years as well, so we can compare and start to monitor some trends in terms of young people and their behaviors and attitudes about money, and what resources and financial services they're accessing. And we also want to use the data that we collect to help shape further money management education initiatives, and to make sure that we're, have our finger on the pulse in terms of young people are interested in and what they want to speak about when it comes to their own money and financial matters. So just some highlights here. So young people do, feel like it's very important to talk about money. This could be a nice generational shift again, as I was saying earlier, away from kind of traditional Irish society, which would be quite hesitant to speak about money in specifically with others in their peer group. Young people are engaging with personal financial services. They are from a very early age, we'd say, and that new technologies and social media are playing an increasing role for many in this space. They are shopping online, unsurprising there, and they're taking steps though to protect their information. So to gain more information around those behaviors as well, quite interested in that. And we would say in general, one of the final questions of the survey, we just had a write-in response to allow them to just highlight any additional areas that they would be interested in learning more about when it comes to personal finance and money management. And we were very sort of blown away with some of the responses. Again, they're very interested in cryptocurrencies and NFTs. They're very interested in investing, issues like taxes, pensions was another one that was raised, and a lot actually mentioned housing and the cost of mortgages and renting. And this is a particular issue at the moment in a lot of Irish public discourse, because we have had a housing crisis for a number of years. And so for us, it's sort of signified that young people are very clued into these discourses, from a political side, and that's quite interesting to us as well. And then a final area was, of course, funding for third level opportunities and educational opportunities in university. So we would, again, something that we could perhaps fold into future money management education initiatives that work with young people. So that's just a whistle-stop tour of that piece of research. And as I said, this will be released next month, hopefully, by the end of the year, at least in any case, hopefully next month. And if anyone's interested, please do reach out to us, and we're happy to share that report when it is live and published. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Amy and Joe. This was extremely interesting, not only to hear about the different programs and the approach you have to Global Money Week, but also to hear that you're using Global Money Week as an opportunity to collect data on the financial behavior of young people. This is super interesting, and please do keep us posted on this new report and any future surveys that you plan to do in the future. This is very similar in a sense to what we do with the PISA financial literacy option, where we also collect data on young people's knowledge, but also behavior. So stay tuned and definitely
Thank you.
Keep in touch. Yeah. I don't see immediate questions for MABS right now. So do keep thinking if you would like to know more about what you have heard about from Ireland. And then I can move on to our next speaker from Thailand. He's Sopon Tunyavechakit. He's a senior economist at the Bank of Thailand. And he's going to talk about a very interesting intervention. You can already see the title, so you can figure out what it's going to be about. And we thought this was an extremely relevant topic because, as we all know, in financial behaviors that have future, that have immediate costs, but where the benefits are expected in the future. And this applies to many things that are being taught in financial education courses about saving or behavior for planning for retirement and pensions and so on. We know that in all these cases, there are very strong behavioral biases that affect even the most educated people, and that it's really hard to take action when the reward from your action or the effect of your action is far away in the future. And this may be the case for many types of financial decisions for children and young people. So we thought that this example from Thailand was a very interesting way to try to tackle this kind of behavioral bias. So I would like to give the floor to Sopon to learn more about their approach. Please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so thank you very much. So I'm not sure if you can see my screen now.
Yes, it's all fine. We can see and hear.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. So first of all, I would like to thank the Global Money Week Secretariat for giving us this opportunity to present our initiative projects here. especially for this year, so the 10th anniversary of the Global Money Week event. So let me introduce myself first. So I'm Sopon Thanyaveshkit, Assistant Director of the Financial Literacy Department of the Bank of Thailand. The Bank of Thailand actually has several projects that support financial literacy of Thai people, so at many levels and in many sectors. So we have been targeted generation Y and Z in the recent years. And of course, so Global Money Week event is part of our activities that support our objective. So this year, actually, we were still facing the COVID-19 situation. So we had to start the online activities again, like last year. So we built a so-called the website that one can create their financial goal and in a very constructive way. So I let me share our experiences from this project, Dear Future Me, as the name might already introduce itself. And I hope that this project might inspire some people in this webinar to do something similar. We thought about this year's theme, so Build Your Future, be smart about money. So these topics help us a lot in the beginning in designing our campaign. So we came up with the first idea, even if the people are in the bad situation during the COVID-19. So we still want to give hope and to give them some spaces to imagine their life that we have the better life in the future. So we want to actually convince people of the importance of the personal finances and reduces person bias about the spending behavior. And therefore, we think that it is better to let people try to visualize their own dream about themselves and to write it down exactly. And of course, if you look at the target, so the children and the young people is the right target for our online activities that we perform, as they are very familiar with the technology, and therefore it is very effective to approach this group of people via the social media or the online platform. So as our objective is we focus to encourage people to think more about their future and to guide them on how to set good financial goals, and we provide a direction of the smart goal setting that should be the smart goal setting should be so specific enough, measurable, and realistic in some way, so that people can achieve the goal even more, I think. So as you can imagine from our project name, it's about to write down the messages in the postcard or in the letter or in a note and keeping it for the future. So maybe 1 year or 2 years or longer. So we use this idea to build a structure e-postcard website, which creates spaces for young people to visualize their dream by writing a postcard to their future self. And we provide a tool that allows users to set their financial goal, starting by thinking about their goal or objective, the amount of the money that they will need to achieve the goal, and to make it easier. So we have set the period to be 1 year fixed, so everyone can have enough time to save money to achieve the goal. So this website also allow users to share with, their e-postcard image, so with their friends on social media, and this would increase sales commitment, which would help users to become more committed to the goal, I think. So to get people to stick with the goal, so the system we developed, we send a nudge email, a nudge message to remind remind the participants that the end of the campaign is approaching. So because we know that in achieving goal, especially when it's a long-term goal, this is not easy. So it takes a lot of effort and discipline, and therefore it will be easier if you have some tools to push yourself in to stick with the goal. So this is what is the Dear Future Me website looks like. So on the left, so you can see users can enter the details of their financial goals in the structured way. The website then instructs users to consider how much money they will need or it would take to reach their goal. And so the system will calculate how much money they should save each month. So this message and the number are automatically combined into an e-postcard in real time. So below, and as part of our promotion, you can see on the picture. So we gave away a lucky draw. So and the prizes are the piggy bank as depicts in here. So when the participants submit the e-postcard and share it with their friends on social media, they will get if they're lucky, they will get the piggy bank. So and on on the right picture, so you can see our action post on our Facebook page during the Global Money Week. So let me summarize the campaign in step. So we had about actually 1.5 months to plan and create this project, which was done in-house by 2 colleagues. One is the IT, and the other one is the graphic designer. So I must say that most of the time was invested in the developing the web application and the system. So and we launched it in time. So the website was launched on the first day of the Global Money Week and promoted it online on our Facebook. And we have also sent it to the line groups that, and actually we have also set the QR code stand on site for the visitor of the Bank of Thailand Learning Center, that if anyone want to join the program or the campaign, so that they can scan the QR code. So the participants, if they want to join, so they can just follow the step as I said. So go to the website, write the postcards to themselves, and click on the send e-postcard, which will be sent back to their email in 1 year, and share it to their Facebook friends. So that is all the step that we need. But we have also the nudge email, as I said. So 6 months later, the system will automatically send an email back to remind and encourage the participants to not forget their financial goal. About the results, actually I have not much to say, though there are 2 parts. So the first part is the quantitative results, which we have reached the awareness of the people around 86,000 reaches during the Global Money Week, and there were 1,005 people visiting our site, and 187 of them have completed and share their financial goal in the social media. So we can say that actually we were satisfied with this result, even the number of the participants is not that large, but so somewhere, especially when we look at the e-postcard, so which is quite impressive. So the participants were eager to write their postcards. So I will show you some e-postcards later. As a byproduct, we can also see that the most common goals for our participants, so they want to achieve the goal by the next year in 3 topics. So the first one is the traveling, the second is the investing, and third one is the paying off the debt. This is quite interesting, I think. And so this is the Dear Future Me website. So we do also use this website for other activity as well, not just only in during the Global Money Week. So one thing that we have learned that some people want to have a physical postcard, and therefore as we have a spin-off project. So for our on-site activities, we print the Dear Future Me postcard and let the people write down their financial goals like in the website, and we really send the postcard to them, so back in 1 year, so that doesn't cost that much. So, and this is my last slide. So this is some example of the e-postcard that the participants wrote on the Global Money Week and were shared online. So some of them were very impressive. So if you are interested in, you can find all of these postcards under the hashtag Bank of Thailand /_ Global Money Week 2022. So, and that is from my side. Thank you. And back to you, Sierra.
Thank you, Sopon. This was very nice. Can I ask if you're planning to repeat this for next year? Okay, I think he didn't hear my question. Let me check if anyone has.
Sorry, did you say something?
Yes, I was just wondering if you're planning to repeat this program next year for Global Money Weeks next year.
Oh, no, I think I'm not sure. So we need to look at the theme of the next year, and then we will decide if we can use this program. Maybe we will combine this together with the other program.
Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, we can move then to our speaker from Finland. So we have Niklas Uppenberg, who is project manager at the consumer affairs at the Swedish Financial Supervisory Authority. And so this will be, he will talk to us about the Svinnerik campaign. So you will hear shortly what this means. Basically, we thought this was an interesting example, not only because it looks at the theme of sustainability, which is of course something that is interesting for many young people, but also because it shows really how financial education can be applied to almost anything in our daily lives and can be connected with many themes that are relevant for most people on a daily basis. So I don't want to spoil too much the topic of his presentation, so I will directly give the floor to Niklas. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for having me here today. I'm actually from Sweden. I think you said Finland.
Sorry.
But that's all right. And I work for the Swedish Financial Supervision Authority here in Sweden. And I was the coordinator for Global Money Week this year in Sweden. And a project that we had here in Sweden. And I would like to speak today about one of the projects that we did. And this was called Svinnerik, which is kind of hard to translate actually into English because it is kind of a word pun or play with words in Sweden. But if I would have to translate it, it would be waste rich. And the slogan would be something like get rich by reducing your food waste. Because this was what the campaign was all about. Learning, teaching middle school and junior high school students and their teachers about how to reduce their food waste and save money, and also how they could invest that money in the future. So this was what the project was all about. And it all started with us reading some numbers really that we came across. And the first number that we reacted to was, let me see if I can, that 1/3 of all food that is produced globally is never eaten. So this is a huge environmental issue for the world. And it's most of the food waste isn't really happening within the industry. It's not happening within the restaurants. It's happening in the households. Most food is wasted within the households. And only in Sweden, we have each person every year on average wastes about 37 kilos of eatable food. So for each person, we have 37 kilos of eatable food being wasted. And so this is something that has an impact on the environment and for our sustainable future. And it comes at an environmental cost, of course, but it also has financial costs for us because it affects our economy as well. And what we can see in Sweden is that food costs are a big expense for many Swedish households. It's one of the biggest monthly expenses for a 20-year-old that has moved away from their family home. And it's also, if we look at numbers, we can see that a family of 2 adults and 2 children could save between 300 to 600 euros a year just by reducing their food waste. So there is a lot of money to be saved here. And these numbers are before inflation hit all over the world and in Europe and before food prices surged. So these numbers would be higher today, of course, when we see inflation has hit Sweden as well. So this is a huge cost for many households. So we are basically throwing away money and while we're throwing away eatable food. And we started thinking, how can we combine these two subjects, the subject of personal finances and the subject of food waste? And what we learned or realized is that this is really about behaviors and learning a certain behavior. And because if you look at it, it's really sustainable consumption, reducing food waste, and taking care of your personal finances is really about learning the same behavior. And that is learning how to manage the resources at your disposal. So we started thinking about how can we teach this to students and to the teachers. And that's when we realized we wanted to do something about this and produce some kind of teaching materials on this matter. So I called up the Swedish Food Agency to let them know that we had this idea, and I asked them, what do you think about this idea, and is it something that we could do together for Global Money Week? And they said, this sounds great, we would love to do something together with you. And this was in November, I think in the middle of November, and I said, then we need to get started because I have this long list of teaching materials that I like to do, and we are only 4 people working with this at our 2 authorities, so we have to get started. So we started working and we worked long hours and hard, but when we reached Global Money Week in the end of March, we were able to release teaching materials for the schools and the teachers to use. And this was all digital because, I mean, in Sweden, all of the schools are very comfortable with teaching digital. So we released everything at our websites. And what we had done was that we had recorded some short educational films which addressed food waste, the problem for the environment, but also the financial costs of doing this. And we also addressed how you can save that money and how you can invest that money and get it to grow over long term. And we had some questions for discussion for these movies as well and these films. And we also had a list of assignments and challenges to do either in school or at home, so that the students can bring it at home. And also we were hoping for some kind of ripple effect here, that the students would bring it home and teach their families about food waste and investments as well. So we had these assignments to do both in school and at home, if you'd like. And we also had calculations focusing on food waste, the food waste in Sweden, but also when it comes to saving money and investments and learning about compound interest. And we had a mystery box challenge, which we instructed the teachers to bring a box to the classroom and fill it with the most common food that is being wasted in Sweden, and challenge the students to cook something out of this, and then think about, so it was kind of creative cooking, but also think about what would, and calculate what the costs would have been of throwing this away, and to discuss this as well. But it was quite appreciated, this challenge as well. And so we released all of these materials in March, and we had quite a big interest in all of this, really. And I think that was most of the part thanks to that we also had quite a bit of a communication campaign before this, because we started communicating this project already in January. Actually, we did a press release in January in which we told that we're doing this project, and we announced a collaboration between the two authorities. And we also did a social media campaign connected to this, and we used this kind of modern graphic design that you can see here, and we used like illustrations. Let me see if I can get it started. Like just short illustrations, animations that creates interest to get people interested and thinking about what is this. It sounds new and sounds interesting. So we did a press release, and we said that teachers and schools could sign up if they were interested in receiving the materials that we were releasing in March. They can sign up with their email. And already the first few days we had about 200 schools signing up their interest all across Sweden. And even before Money Week had started in March, we had about 320 schools signing up their interest. And this was before we had released anything. So the pressure was quite high on and we did this social media campaign that actually created a lot of interest as well. And then when Global Money Week started, we also did a press release by the start of Global Money Week explaining the interest from the schools, but also what the materials look like. And this was more of a press release for the media, you could say. And we also did a seminar for teachers by the start of Global Money Week on Monday, explaining a bit around food waste and investments, but also explaining how to use the materials. And we had about, I think, 150 schools participating in this seminar. So it was quite high interest for that as well. So we had quite a lot of interest on this subject and from the teachers, and we also got a lot of interest from the media as well, more than we could have anticipated, really, because we had a great media interest. Me and my colleague from the National Food Agency, Karin, as you can see here, we were in the biggest morning show in Sweden on Monday when Global Money Week started. And we actually had interviews and articles in all the biggest newspapers in Sweden, both national and local. So it was such a huge success, really, and I'm quite proud of it, because we couldn't have anticipated that much interest from the media as well. But what everyone thought was really interesting was this new perspective of teaching financial knowledge, and also the new collaboration between these two authorities that hadn't really worked before together. So that was, the media thought that was a quite interesting angle as well. So if I would summarize the key insights of doing this project, I can talk all day about this, but the first thing I would say is that I think it's important to both focus on the financial knowledge, but also on consumer behavior, and connect it to different subjects as well. Because if we can focus on what the behavior is that we want people to learn, or students to learn for the future, I think we have a lot of to gain from that when it comes to sustainable finance or anything else. And the second thing is to be able to collaborate with new and different authorities and organizations that maybe hadn't been a part of Global Money Week before. Like the Swedish Food Agency hadn't heard about Global Money Week really, but they were so happy to be a part of it. And it was such a good collaboration between two authorities that hadn't really worked before together. And the last thing is, don't be afraid to think outside the box, because I think we have a lot of gain from addressing these different subjects, and also learning about personal finances in new ways. And then we get more people interested in this subject, and also more people building a more sustainable future. And so with that, I would like to say thank you for having me here today.
No, really, thank you, Niklas, for explaining this project to us, and also going through all the steps that led you to the final implementation. It's really nice to see what goes behind the scenes in Global Money Week preparations in all of your countries. So I would like to invite all of the participants to raise any questions for Niklas or for the other speakers. And in the meantime, while you think of your questions, I would like to also ask one to Niklas. So can you tell us more? I mean, did you have any qualitative feedback from the schools that have participated? Like, of course, you would, I imagine you did not collect proper data, but like, what was the general feedback that you received?
Yeah, but we did actually a survey
okay.
afterwards, and after about a month after Global Money Week, to ask the teachers how they had been using the materials, and the feedback that we got was they liked it a lot, and they liked the educational films best, because this is something that a lot of teachers want to see more of, that we provide really educational films, and they think that this is good to use in when teaching students. So that was one of the things, and also these assignments and challenges they thought was really fun as well to do. So that was some of the feedback, but all in all, they were very positive of this, and this is something that we see as a long-term like project. So it's something that they can use forever if they like. Yeah.
So does it mean that the material will remain available and they can continue to use it anytime, basically?
Yeah, because it's also a part of the curriculum to learn about food waste and also personal finances. So we looked at the curriculum and saw that we can fit this into the curriculum of the middle school and junior high school. So.
Yeah, no, this is a very good point that links very well to many conversations that we have within the IFE about how to introduce topics related to financial literacy within the school curricula. And I think this is a great example to see the links that may already be there in the curriculum. So let me check if anyone else in the audience would like to ask any questions to our speakers. And if not, I see that Vasco indicated at the beginning that you would like to answer a question live from, the question was the metaverse application built in-house, or is it possible to also have a one-on-one? So did you want to take this question live, Vasco?
Yes, just briefly, we actually were planning to have a built-in-house solution for next year because we want to have our own space. But the first event was hosted in the Meta, in the workrooms as a shared link. And the second one, we partner with the association of this company, so we were able to have a more professional platform, so we could host meetings in different rooms. So I think to begin with, we can use very cheap and available solutions online, but I think it's a trend to have more specialized platform for next steps.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Vasco. So if there are no other questions for our speakers, I think I can say just a few words to close off. And as we said many times today, we care a lot about data and evaluation. So as I'm closing, we will also share a few questions for you to let us know what you thought about this webinar today. So I would like to thank many people, first of all, the speakers in today's webinar, but also all the participants, the participating organizations that really make Global Money Week such a success. Without you, there would be no Global Money Week. A special thanks goes to Vasco and all of the members of the working group on Global Money Week that we have within the INFE. They are the ones who really steer us in the Secretariat and give us good directions to make sure that what we do is relevant for everybody. And last but not least, I would like to thank the people who really make Global Money Week possible from a practical point of view, and especially Bianca, Valeria, and Lina for not only developing the report that is being launched today, but also for organizing Global Money Week and for being in contact with many of you on a regular basis, and again, for making this happen. So thank you all very much. Please take a few moments to let us know what you thought about this webinar, and also to give us some initial views if you're planning to join Global Money Week next year. And wishing you very good rest of the day or rest of the evening, and looking forward to seeing you in future Global Money Week or INFE events. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Cheers.